building, y'all. We got my brothers. All right.
Hey, Breezy, cut that shit up. Hey, Breezy, cut that shit up.
All right. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Juice. We back in the building. And I got my panel today with me. We got HP's finest. We got my professor, the professor. And I'm your gracious host, Dr. Juice. We in the building. And we finna get ready to crank it up here at the Urban Matters Matter Live Chat. I'm your gracious host, Dr. Juice, again. And thank you for joining us here at Urban Matters Media Group. I hope my sound is coming through clearly. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear my voice, fellas.
Yes,
Loud and clear.
How y'all guys doing today? I gotta say happy belated Father's Day to you, brothers. I
Thank you,
know
man.
y'all guys are some outstanding fathers, upstanding fathers. Y'all all about education, definitely about community, and we definitely about everything in the middle when it comes to fatherhood and community. So today, my question is, fellas, are we some good fathers? And this is a question of fatherhood. I see a lot of janky rhetoric out here going along, testing our fatherhoods out here, and I don't like it. And I had to, bring a show together that we're gonna start representing the fathers, and we're gonna start standing up and start, putting our feet down when it comes to being men here in this America, these states of America, y'all. Because I think that there's an attack on fatherhood. I think there's an attack on manhood. There's definitely a gender war going on that they're constantly implementing, and I really got a problem with it. So I wanted you to introduce yourself since we got our new guest today, Professor. I'm gonna let my HP brother, HP Slim, Daddy, do his thing.
What's up, people? Holland Park finest, man. Been through a lot. Been through a storm. Came back. I'm just blessed to even be still a part of this community, man. Because I come from some humble beginnings. I was talking to some people the other day about. I made a post, and how our parents don't really know how far we rode our bicycles from home. And Voss, I know you can attest to this because I told some guys. I said we used to ride our bicycles from Hallam Park. You know where Hallam Park is, right?
Oh, yeah,
We used to ride from Hallam Park. We used to ride all the way to the rec center in Winter Haven and go to the rec and go swimming. And they, oh, you ain't ride that far. But I'm not the type of person that have to prove nothing. But I got people that'll back me up on this, And we did all that. We done wrote the Frost Proof, Dundee. We used to write the Hesperides from Hallam Park almost pretty much daily. That's what we did. And from Hallam Park to Saddlebag Lake, that ain't no short ride, But I just like to say, man, like I say, I come from some humble beginnings, man. I had to go through some things, I'm not gonna sit up here and front, I battled addiction for most of my young adult life, from my adolescent years, man. Alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, crack, all that stuff, But by the grace of God, I'm still here, man, and I felt like I had to turn it around, and I can really be a light and a beacon to help our people. I'm also an addictions counselor. I got 3 degrees, and I'm not trying to beat my chest or nothing, but like I said, I've been through the fire, and now I'm on the other end of this thing, and I can help people, and that's what I do. That's my mission every day, to get up and help somebody out of a hole. But I'm not gonna hijack the program, Reginald. Highland
We
Park
thank
finest.
we thank you for sharing that with us, brother Red. We thank you for sharing that with us, HP's finest. Definitely, man. That took courage, and that's what I'm speaking about in this fatherhood edition today.
Yeah.
About being having courage, man, to have accountability, and I think that's what sometimes our community is starting to come up short with the accountability side of things.
Accountability is the biggest thing that the black community has to realize and accept, because like we had some talks, and I've expressed this and expressed this. The worst thing that happened to the black community was integration, and I'm gonna let you ride with that one.
Okay, pick up on that, there, professor. Professor, y'all. Here go the professor in the building. Professor, introduce yourself. We probably need no introduction, but we're gonna let you bring that hot fire. Bring it, Professor.
I appreciate that. I first always like to start out with complimenting you guys, man. Y'all, I'm the elder, and one of the things that we don't have in our community is that bond between the older black men and the younger black men. It's about 10 years different. So I want to really compliment your generation, because my generation, we were the rats. We were the rats in this failed social experiment called integration, and we didn't provide the guidance to you all, because there's a long story behind that in terms of how that experiment impacted us. But I just want to let you guys know, man, you guys are real warriors. You know that y'all have my full support. I've provided resources from my company to empower you guys, and I'm just really proud to be a part of what you're doing. And everybody, of course, I've risen to professor, but you got to know that I'm 3Ds. I'm straight up across the highway. I'm true to that. Always been
Highway,
true to
way.
that. And the reason why I emphasize across the highway is because we were unique, and I know that history. We were a planned community, if you will. We were planned community before they were talking about planned communities, and because of that, we have been a very close knit community. Day one, cross the highway, fine, cross the highway, and I'm proud of that. And now that with all the accomplishments and things that I've done in life, it just makes sense to me to contribute to my community, and I want to really pass that concept on. We need more people who've done well, like my nephew. That he's up there in Maryland, and we need to take our resources and re-educate our community. But I'm here for you guys. I honor you guys, and I'm here to help you make social change.
We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Professor. Professor, the uncle, the professor. And y'all, we got to get a professor so much props, man, because it's very rare. Would you say, Brother Red, that we have black men from our community, here, especially here in the Wells, that we can look up to as far as a uncle, a professor, an educator, somebody who can really give back to the community, and it's awesome, man. And this guy, I tell you, me and this guy, we chop it up all the time. Sometimes we go at it. Sometimes we give each other credit. Sometimes we have disagreements. But one thing we always do, we always coming with some challenging conversation, and the conversation is always intellectual and it's high level conversation, and I love it. And I never get bored, man. Me and this guy, we on the phone sometimes for hours, man. And me and you too, Red. We be on the phone for hours, bro.
Yeah.
And man, I never get bored, man. Because don't get me wrong, we talk about a lot of issues, social issues, and current issues, and Hollywood, But that's not really the strong suit of our conversation. Most of the time, our conversation is the condition of our community and what can we do to engage our community. And Professor Voss is always talking about digital transformation, how our folks don't understand how this digital transformation is going to impact us. And you're either going to be roadkill or you're going to be some type of guru when it comes to the digital transformation because the AI, it doesn't have feelings. The AI doesn't get emotional. And a lot of us in our community, we're suffering because we're always on emotional crack just about every day. And that's a lot of our problems, you know. We're on emotional crack and there is no counselors coming in trying to get us off that emotional crack. You feel what I'm saying, Brother Witt? So yeah, man, y'all guys, let's chop it up about this question we got today. And that says, why are you a proud black father, Professor Voss? Why are you a proud black father, Brother Reginald? And or not? Are you not a proud black father? And do you feel like if fatherhood is under attack in America in 2024? I'm gonna start with the
I, I,
professor. Go ahead. Oh no, go ahead, Red. You go ahead. See, Red, you the guest today, so yes, definitely.
I, Juice, to be honest with you, man, I don't have any
And
biological
listen,
children
listen,
that
listen,
I know
listen.
of.
Don't hold back. Don't hold back. You know
I'm
we
not,
don't apologize. Okay,
man. Look, you ain't got to
we can
school
take it.
me. I got it. I, I, to my knowledge, I don't have any biological kids, but I have had a like a stepdaughter in my life for the last eight. Well, she was 12 since last 8 years. You know, it's a crazy type of relationship. You know, with her biologicals and stuff. But um,
Mm-hmm.
I just think fatherhood is such a huge thing because if we're really being straight up and honest about it, our our communities, the black community, like I talked to you about this before, the our grandfathers, they really had no say, you know, because our grandfather, like, you know, my granddaddy worked at Firestone. He was gone all day. You know what I'm saying? So when
Mm-hmm.
my grandma ran everything, so everything had to flow through her. You know, so they try to say now that their grandmothers were oppressed and stuff back in those days. But I think they had it the easiest because they had control of everything. The man worked and brought all the money home, and the big ma took care of everything. You know, and Boss can attest to this. Our grandmothers took care of everything, while our grandfathers, what most of our grandfathers were either like my grandfather was a tire changer, you know, other people's grandfather they worked out in the orange grove loading fruit and juice. You know what I'm talking about
Oh
on that
yeah.
goat. You done been out there. You done been out there in that grove before,
Oh yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
you know, what I try to do, man, is tell people the truth, man, and the truth always get pushed back because of somebody don't like it, you know, and it's easy to, like you said, we our our black community has been run off of emotion so long because you know we've had so much thrown against us, but if that like me, I didn't have no father in my house because my my mom, just I'm just gonna be honest, you say don't hold nothing back.
Don't hold nothing
She
back.
got pregnant by a married man. So I never really got to know my dad. So, you
Uh,
know, when we look at it, like you Juice, you had your dad right in the house. You got a whole different experience than me. All I had was a abusive stepdad, and that stuff takes a toll on young black boys. You know,
I understand, bro.
I'm not sitting here trying to, you know, they say, oh, you know, you want to blame the parent that stayed. No, we're not doing that. But what we need to do is reach back and look at the facts of how we got here. If we don't look at how we got here, there's no way we can fix it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We got to look at
Yes,
the
sir.
facts of how we got here. Because
Yes, sir.
I tell people all the time, we live in a vacuum. It's always a cycle. You like in the 70s, we used to see the pimps with the fly hats and the platform shoes with the bell bottoms. Man, I seen a dude the other day, fly hat with the zoot suit with the platform shoes with the bell bottom. I said, oh, so we going back to Curtis Mayfield. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
all I'm saying is, man, our black boys, and not just our black boys, our black daughters, they need their father too, because that father is the first stabilization that they have a line of discipline. Because mom gonna always, she the nurturer, and she's gonna be like, you being too hard on him. Don't do that boy like that. And with our daughters, and Juice, you know this, we have to be the one to vet that the knuckleheads coming to take her out the prom. We got to be the one to vet that, because men can see men for the bullshit what they are. Men can see that. I tell people all the time, if you his seventh baby mama, come on now, who fault that is? So
Absolutely.
we have to look at it from that perspective, man, and be better. We got to be the stabilization point for our children going forward. I'm gonna let Boss bite me up on that. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that. We got my brother in the building. This my brother Chill Will. This another cross the highway boy. Y'all. Will's a little younger than us fellas, but he listen. He gonna bring that fire. I'm gonna save him for last, boy, cause Chill Will. You want to say hello to the family?
What up,
Oh,
Will?
good day, everybody.
Greetings, my brother. Greetings. All right, Professor Voss, we're gonna bring you in now. I need Professor Voss to comment and give us some hot fire about fatherhood in America. Is it under attack in 2024? Are men under attack in 24? Is it like almost like a, 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 a bad oath or a bad omen or some type of I can't even explain it, man. It's like if you stand up and be a good man now and be a strong man, you're gonna be demonized. You're gonna be criminalized. You're gonna be marginalized. So why are you a proud black father today, Professor Voss? And give us some pointers on what our other brothers should be proud of when it comes to fatherhood in 2024.
Well, I appreciate that, Dr. Juice. And nephew, I certainly appreciate your story. And the beautiful thing about this group, while we grew up in the same community, we all had different experiences, but we were affected by the same environment. I'm an extreme proud father, and the reason why I'm an extreme proud father is because I didn't allow the majority of this society to tell me how to raise my daughter. And I was willing to go to jail. I was willing to fight child support. I was willing to go to war, and that's exactly what I did. I got sole custody of my daughter. It took me 8 years. I went through 7 lawyers. I've been in jail 4 times. I spent over $75,000 legal fees, and I lost over $1.2 million in potential income. So, based on that, I'm extremely proud. Now, I come from a different little background growing up with you guys, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but my daddy moved to Lake Wales in 1925, and my father, like myself, has been married 3 times. My mama was his 3rd wife, and my daddy will always tell you that he did more with less with my mama than he did with them other women. But my daddy was in business at least 30 years before I was born. My mama was a college professor, which she quit teaching college to raise me my first 10 years. So I was developed into a different kind of black person in the 60s that was almost kind of unheard of, but I was a late baby. I was an old people baby, and I believe that really empowered me to do a lot of things. While my daddy was very prominent, my daddy was one of the wealthiest black men in Polk County for a long time, and I had to work for everything that I got. My daddy wouldn't give me nothing. In fact, I had to work for the family business at 2 years old. My daddy's philosophy was, if you can walk around and get in the shit, then you can work. So I had to start working for the family business at age 2. I didn't retire from the family business until I got to the 7th grade when I wanted to play basketball. They wouldn't let me retire, but I retired at 12 years old from the family business, and I still had to work part-time. So I come from that background, and that upbringing gave me the confidence to tell the majority that you are not going to tell me how to raise my child. I'm going to educate my child. And as a result of that, everybody in the world knows my daughter graduated from Westlake High School, which that's the school that one of the best black high schools in Atlanta. Cam Newton went to that school. My daughter graduated from Spelman College, which is the top HBCU school in America. And then my daughter graduated from the Harvard of the South. Okay, that's Emory University, and I believe that was due to the fact that I was willing to lay my life down on the line to raise my child, and anybody that was within 100 miles of me knew that. So I'm very proud of that, and that speaks to the success of me raising my child, even though she's human. Okay, I don't want to make it sound like my daughters are angels, because even as a single black man, we talk about single mothers, and we talk about the issues that those children have. You know, we talk about how single black mothers, they're breeding brothers going to jail and all that kind of stuff.
I don't get that, man. It's like thoughtism is like the new drug now for all young ladies and stuff, and nobody's taking accountability when it comes to women, teaching women to get rid of that thought culture out of our culture.
Well, I'll talk about the thought culture as well. That's economical. But the point where I'll land my plane on is that very little is discussed about the issues that children have when a single father raised them as well. They got issues too now. So I don't ever want to make it sound like because my daughter's done well academically and told the line that she don't have issues either. We all got issues.
Absolutely, absolutely. We thank you for sharing that with us, Professor Voss, and that was a very, very gracious insight and a great analogy and some great feedback on fatherhood in 2024 under attack. And we understand that manhood is under attack, and a lot of our women are becoming victim of this fake feminism that they think that they have to protect and honor and defend feminism in the name of womanhood. And so we're gonna let my brother Chill Will come in, Mr. Lee, come in and kind of give us some insight and give us a little bit of that hot fire. Now, this guy right here, hey, listen, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and give a trigger warning right now, y'all. Trigger warning. Don't let that baby face fool you. All right, come on in, Chill Will.
Um, yeah, I like to chime in on the subject that we're discussing right now. Um, I'm gonna bring in this era because the two brothers, they gave their era, which is very powerful. But I'm gonna go back to their era and I'm gonna discuss the breakup. You know, the government plan of tearing down the black household. Um, you can start with the Black Panther. The Black Panther was never government was never ran by the government until they broke it up, which y'all gentlemen probably know that. But that was their plan to discuss. I mean, to disrupt what was powerful. And a black family back then was way more powerful than they are now. So when you look at the demographic picture and overall picture, social media is the deal breaker. Because now you have, if you look at social media, I don't know if you guys are on social media, but if you look at social media, you'll see the man versus woman on every, almost every other post that you scroll up on. So when you look at the whole picture, they've done their job. I'm disrupting the black household. Now you have, let's talk about the women first, not to bash them, but we're just going to talk about something that's very logical, because women are more emotional than men are. So when you look at the whole picture, let's start with the woman that's raising a young boy. A lot of these women are raising these young boys on the pretense of keeping them away from the father, or talking bad about the father. That becomes a thing of, you have young boys now very feminine, which is, there's nothing wrong with you having some type of feminine energy, because you do come from a woman. But when you look at the real picture, you have more feminine guys out here in society than you do versus back then. So when you really think about it, and you look at society, and you look at social media, it is a way of to destroying the black man and his family. Versus what they did back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. We're in an era now where there's no self-love, there's no morals, there's no boundaries. There's not even respect for kids. If you think about it, the next time you're out and about, or if you even in your car and you see a young lady and her kids, I can guarantee you 90% of those kids are standing up in the car, number one. Number two, she's blasting some music that the kids shouldn't even be listening to. And a lot of these parents are not educating their kids, to the point where you have some kids don't even know their first name, don't even know their last name. But you do have kids that call their parents by their first name. So there's no respect or structure when it comes to a household nowadays versus back then. Back then, if you even mumble on your breath, you're going to get your butt toe up. Now, these parents, are afraid of the kids, because I coach youth football for 15 years, and I've seen the damage that it done with a single mom. Nothing against a single mom, because some of them do their best, but they don't step across that line and become the mother and the father. They do their best as being a mother, but a lot of kids, it's the saddest thing ever, and a lot of time it broke me down. Over the years I coached these young men, a lot of them would come to practice because that would be their peace, because they're at home getting bashed by the mom. The dad don't come around. The dad don't care nothing about him. And then, the mom continuously have this hate towards the dad. So she's always going to talk down on the dad. But a lot of these young men would come to practice. And the thing that they would say to me is, Coach White, man, I wish you was my dad, man, because you understand me. And then the thing I would do, I would give each kid, I would take 15 minutes before practice would even start. And I would ask kids how their day was. And you would be surprised the things that these kids would tell you, due to the fact they don't have nobody to vent to. They don't have nobody to open up to. So let's go from that aspect to the streets. A lot of these young men are led to the streets because they don't have that love at home. They don't have that structure at home. They don't have that father figure to keep them out of it. So at the end of the day, I have 5 kids that I coach over the years. All of them are now in the prison system, due to the fact that they didn't have a father figure, for number one. The mother didn't care too much to even try to reach out to the father, and the father didn't care too much to try to reach out to their sons. The most hurtful thing is the 5 kids that are in prison currently that I coached, all were A and B students, to the point where their mom didn't have money to really give them the shoes or clothes or things that they wanted, that they seen the other kids have. So the easiest way for them to get the things they wanted, and then it's another sad part of it too. You got some of the older guys that will lead these guys into that struggle, into that trap. And a lot of these kids, I'll tell y'all a story real quick. I was coaching 14U. These kids were 13, 14-year-old. We was running a tackle drill. One of the kids got tackled. An ounce of weed fell out of his pads. I picked it up. I waited for practice to be over with. And I had everybody to be on one knee. And I asked them, I say, do anybody know who owns this? Nobody said nothing, right? But the one thing I emphasize to those kids is the truth gonna take you a long way, and the lie gonna leave you where you stand at. So the young man stood up. He said, Coach, that's mine, Coach. I dismissed all the kids from practice. He stood there beside me. And I turned around. I say, what did I teach you when you talk to a man? You always look him in the eyes, right? Why are you looking at me from all over the place? So he turned around and faced me. So I asked him a question. I didn't get down on him. I asked him a question. I say, what's your purpose of doing this? He said, Coach, I barely get to eat at night. And I don't have the shoes and stuff like that. My mama, she barely had the money. She barely be home. I put my head down for a second and I rubbed my chin. And I asked him, if I get you a job, would you stop this? He looked at me. He said, yes, sir. I said, promise yourself one thing. He said, what's that, Coach? Promise yourself you'll never go to prison. He said, I said, no. You know how we do. If I tell you to promise yourself, I need to hear it out loud. He said it out loud. To this day, that kid is a rolling scholar. A rolling scholar. His dad was in prison. His mom was in and out of jail. His grandmother had passed away. And every time I would talk to him, he'd always say, Coach, I'm gonna stand by that promise. But that's just one of the things that we as black men have to sometimes step up. Even though it may not be your child, but we tend to step up. And the worst thing in society right now is the music. That's the worst thing in society is the music. The music has led these women to think that they don't need a man. And then music also have led a lot of these brothers to think that they don't need a woman. But at the end of the day, we both need one another, and nobody seems to understand that. This is a self-centered world right now that we're living in. Nobody has an open heart to help anybody else out, or stand with the next brother, or stand with the next sister. I do a lot of traveling. I be out in the society a lot, and I've been in a lot of black communities. And the one thing that's missing in the black community is a leader in a community, in the leaders that's in the community to stand tall with these people and to go in and interact with the people. See, back in the day, it was the pastors. Now the pastors, they're not like that. Due to the fact a lot of pastors are under the guidance of the government. A lot of people won't believe that. A lot of people think that's not true. It's very true. Because when you look at it, how much money do we spend on a yearly, annual year? I mean, every year, how much money does the black people spend on things outside of the community? And the sad part about it is, it's always a saying that I used to always hear: never sell your grandma's house when your grandma passed away. Not now. They sell their grandmother's house because they can't pay the simple property taxes. Nobody want to come together nowadays to help one another out. Family is not even family like it used to be. Ever since the monarch, the monarch or Big Mama left, it seemed like the togetherness left along with her. And the thing that I see also is a lot of brothers that make babies and they leave the mothers. True enough, a lot of things don't work out. But one thing I did notice when I was coming up, when I was growing up, was even if the parents wasn't on the same page, or they didn't want to be with each other, they stuck together to raise us. It's not like that nowadays. To the point where you see a lot of single mothers. But let's not make it seem like they're perfect, because they're not. There's some single mothers that I know personally that have been through having multiple kids and not knowing who the father is of some of the kids. Then they have been through so much with that one guy, so when a good man comes along, they abuse him, run him off. And
Yes.
it's man, it's tough. This is a powerful subject, because this is not talked about amongst the black community. If you look at all the other communities, they are together. But I will say this: there is an uprising of togetherness with black people. There is an uprising of the Black Wall Street in North Carolina. I don't know if you guys are ever, get a chance to go to North Carolina, but if you ever get a chance to go to North Carolina, go see North Carolina, because North Carolina is the next Black Wall Street. Nobody's talking about it. but it's there. Um, Another thing is you have black families now that are purchasing land and they're building family compounds on it. Up in Atlanta, they have the black micro community, which is all black community. So there is togetherness, but it's not a whole togetherness. um,
Yep.
it's another thing that bothers me a lot too is these athletes. Professional athletes rarely come back to their community and give back. I don't know if it's in a contract not to go to the community or the suburbs, but you have to understand nowadays it's way more dangerous. But it's nothing wrong with giving a check to the community center and helping the black community out. Um, to be honest, it's not even a thing now. You give the money to a church and the church do well with it because that doesn't happen either. And I don't want to offend nobody, anything like that. But this is just my studies. I study a lot of things, and I noticed that in black churches nowadays it's all about the money. How many you
Yep.
can get in your
Let me,
your
let me
congregation?
let me ask you a question, bro. Chill, Will. And you
Uh,
mentioned the the black athletes, and also I want to ask you a question too. And this question is directed to all the brothers, and I just want to kind of make sure all of us get to give our input and give our feedback. I noticed that in our community a lot with the women sleeping with multiple men, multiple partners, and even men having multiple baby mamas. Let's me and Brother Red, we talk about Future and Sierra, and why it took Sierra to meet somebody like Future before she realized she needed Russell Wilson. And like what causes that type of behavior, that gutter sex is okay type of behavior, and there's no sense in trying to settle down with a husband. Let me get it all at me before I settle down. And then with the athletes, a lot of our black athletes, you can see it when the draft is going down, they sitting on the couch with a snow bunny. So it's hard for that money to come back into the community. And Brother Reginald, give me some feedback on those two topics. The gutter sex and the thoughtism, and generational wealth not being retained in our community because the black athletes are have snow bunny fever.
Juice, let me put it to you this way, man. This
Give me
this
five
this,
minutes.
this is
Sum
a
it up in 5 minutes.
this is a this door swing both ways. So like you and I were talking about the other day. Um, if you look at the big politicians, the female politicians that are in power right now, the one thing they have in common is they have a Caucasian husband. You know, I'm gonna get to the black male athletes in a second, but I want to point this out first because it's important. Um, Anytime you see that the people in the most affluential black people, it always seems that they have uh, and I'm not trying to talk down on anybody because I married a white woman when I was young in my recovery. I did too. So I'm not trying to sit here and talk bad about nobody, but I'm just going to give you the facts. You know, let's just take uh, this new Supreme Court justice they Joe Biden appointed, is Ketanji Brown Jackson. If if you think about it, look who she goes home to. Look where her wealth goes to. And I'm not a staunch. I'm not a Dr. Umar fan, but Dr. Umar made some good points when he said that like Kobe Bryant when he passed away, all of his wealth is not coming back to the black community because he married somebody that's of a different race. So she controls all of his assets. Vanessa Bryant controls all of that. She controls all of his assets. So I have to agree with Dr. Umar on that one. But when it comes to the NFL draft, Dr. Umar said something else that made sense. He said that those bunnies they're putting stock into those black boys. When they all dusty and they can they're seeing the bigger picture, and they're invested in them in those black boys, when they're young. And then when the draft comes around, that's who they have on their arm. Dr. Umar said that the thing what's killing us is our people, our women are sitting around and waiting for the finished product, and it doesn't work like that. We have to work together. If we don't work together, this is the problem that we have. Let me put it to you this way: anytime we have that this whole American system, I keep telling people, it's pitted us against each other. That's what it's done. It has pitted, and like Chio Will said, when you think about it, this government, like you say, every time you go on social media, it's man versus woman, and this was generated for a reason, to keep us separated, to divide our families, and it didn't just start, in these 2020s. It started back in the 50s. Like Juice. I don't know if you got that if you can play that video I sent you today. That says a lot. But I just think that we like I said, we got to strip this thing down to the nuts and the bolts, and put it back in perspective. And like Chio Will said, these churches is not helping. I think that's the number one downfall of black people is Christianity. I had to wake up to it. I don't ascribe to that anymore, because churches are 403C anyway, so they're run by the government. How come they never have to pay any taxes or anything? So and if you think about it, think about when the politicians come in, they go straight to the black church. That's where they go. That's where they go to enlist our votes. They go straight to the black church. But if you look at it nowadays, the black church, it's almost like a harlot. If you really think about it, it's one man and a million women and children. Black men aren't in church anymore. If you really pay attention to it, black men don't go to church anymore. We don't do that. We don't do that. I don't know no black men that go to church, except except my older uncle. And that's what he does. I had to see it for myself. I used to get my butt beat because I didn't want to go to church. I used to steal money out the plate at church and go and run out the church and go to the candy lady. That's how much I hated to go to church. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real with you. I'm gonna give you the facts.
And let me respond to that. Let me respond to that a little bit, Red. And we're gonna bring our Professor Voss in after I follow up with this. We have him follow up with that. What we're talking about, the impact of sports and retaining generational wealth, and also we want to respond on our women and our men being a part of that social construct of gutter sex and not really respecting the family structure. And I absolutely agree with both of you guys when it comes to that, because y'all know me. I'm all about black empowerment, and I'm almost kind of like Umar.
Sexy Red ain't getting it done. She not getting
Sexy
it done.
Red ain't getting it done. No,
She
that's
not getting
what.
it done.
But see, that's what we're allowing them to do. We're allowing them to hijack our culture. We're allowing them to tell us and control the narratives of what we want in our the structure that we want in our communities. That's why black men, especially this Urban Matters Matter live chat, this platform, we're gonna make it our business. We're gonna make it our duty that we start educating, implementing, and informing people. Because if you can't inform your people, if you don't have some type of media apparatus or some type of newspaper or some type of something, and brother Voss, professor, is always drilling me on this. He say, Juice, we got to get the advantage, and that advantage gonna be, what is it, Professor Voss? Digital transformation. And we're not really interested in it now, right? Because we don't understand how we're going to be that roadkill. So I'm going to let Professor Voss follow up with the whole thing about retaining that generational wealth, and also how can we start encouraging our women and men to be more intelligent when it comes to sex and families and what have you. We had a discussion earlier today about this, Professor. Go ahead.
So y'all might want to time me because now you just asked for a lecture, and I'm going to try to and I'm going to try to compartmentalize what I have to say about the topic. So let me start off by saying that I want to give you somewhat of a historical context of what you're discussing right now, and I want to take you back to slavery, okay? Because you know you have to start there in this country, okay? While a lot of us were indigenous, I want to start off with slavery with the black male and the black female. So I don't know if you know this, but that white man could go into the quarters and he could take your mama, your sister, your cousin, any black female that he wanted, and do whatever he wanted to do with it, and send you out there in the field. And you had to go, or he'll kill you. When he finished doing whatever he was doing with our females, he would reward her with a pork chop. And he said, pork chop? Yeah, because that was good food. You know, going from eating chitlins and all of the bad food that they would give you, you never could get a pork chop. So the pork chop was a reward. When he finished doing what he was doing with her, and when you came back out of the field, the only thing that you could do is tell your woman, your wife, your whatever black female it was, because you know the white man gonna come back there and do it again. So you had to convince her to say, well, when he come back, ask him for 2 pork chops. So that is the basis of our relationship being transactional. Okay. Then on top of that, black people must remember, as ugly as it was, we were breeded like animals because we were property. You were not a human being. You were no different than a hog, a horse, a cow. That's how white people saw you. That's how this society saw you. So you didn't get a chance to participate in the institution of marriage, the institution of wealth building. When you did get civil rights after Jim Crow, we never built a blueprint on how to engage each other in relationship. Right now, even to this day, all we doing is buying, selling sex. All you're doing is, as a female, you're costuming yourself. You put icons around yourself that you think is attractive, and it's all economic. Why? Because you're trying to get some sort of economical benefits. You say, whoa, that's prostitution. You can call it what you want, but when you hear things like no finance, without finance, no romance, how do they say it? No finance, no romance. I don't want no broke nigga. All those terms speaks to the economic of transactional relationships. So we never took the time to develop a culture on engagement. When you look at other cultures, for example, you go to Walmart and you see those Indian people in there, right? They got the mama, the daddy, the children, the grandma, and the grandfather, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a nucleus that helps them win in this society. How much does child care cost now? What is it? $300-400 a week? They don't
200.
have that expense. They don't have that expense. And they're operating under a spiritual umbrella. Black people, when you think about when we finally was regarded as human beings, everything that we know about religion, everything that we know about sex, love, we got that because we was taught that by our open enemy. When you think about religion, I don't do Jesus. I don't do church because I understand the history. Christianity was, in fact, I think I need to post some of the horrific things that the Crusaders did to convert people to uh, Christianity. I saw a tool. Somebody sent me some research. I saw a tool. I think they call it the preacher pair or something that they would either insert into your rectum if you were a male, or they would insert into the woman's vagina to make her a Christian or make him a Christian. They did horrific things. If you look at the history, right? When you talk about honoring your ancestors, these folks will holler Jesus before they even think about the pain and suffering and the blood that was shed from your own ancestors. That don't make sense to me. So you have a lot of dysfunction that I would like to encourage you all in this educational platform to discuss, to bring that history out, to dig into that data, because your open enemy, they're not going to educate you on these things. For instance, how much education did you have regarding the Reconstruction era? The Reconstruction era in America was extremely important to Black people. The reason why it was important to Black people, because we were winning economically. In fact, we were winning at such a high level, it created white jealousy. That white jealousy created Jim Crow. They started burning your businesses. They started lynching you. They started doing all of these things because we're the only race of people on earth that went from a 98% illiteracy, and we cut that in half in less than 30 years. That's scary. That's scary to a people who've impressed you, who have put in their scientific books that you were inferior, that your brain was small. There were things that you just couldn't do. And when you proved them wrong, out of jealousy, the only thing that they could do as a response to that was to kill you, to lynch you, cut your penis off, stick it in your mouth. As far as the snow bunnies and Black women did not have the luxury to be promiscuous. You could lose your life because we knew that your open enemy could rape them and could get away with that, could rape your mama, they could rape your sister, they could rape any Black female they want. So grandma would say, girl, don't go out there like that. You can't go out like that. Your dress had to be over your knees because you were putting your life at risk. Becky and Karen, on the other hand, they owned the plantation. So they were free to express their sexuality any way they wanted to. They could play with horses. They could play with donkeys. They could play with animals. They could play with you. They saw you as an animal. So their sexual orientation was a totally different experience than oppressed people.
And let me piggyback off of that a little bit, Professor Vol. And I don't know if y'all heard this conversation that been going on in Congress with the dude Byron Donalds. He came out and made a comment kind of similar to what you're saying right now about the Jim Crow era. And oh my God, they went to having a field day with it. They went to going there and saying the man said this. They took all the man words out of context, but all the guy was saying was, hey, Black people was doing better during Jim Crow because they had sense enough to not try to be integrated. They had sense enough to do for themselves. They had sense enough to build their own economic structure and their own economics in their community. And man, let me tell you something. These liberals, they just went to hell with this and put all types of words in the man's mouth, took it all out of context. Said the man was saying that black people. Oh, so you're saying that Jim Crow was better for black people? No, the man did not say that. The man said we was doing better during Jim Crow. They took it all out of context, man. I can't. That's why I keep telling y'all. This is why Urban Matters Media Group and Urban Matters Matter Live Chat is such a very influential and very necessary media platform where we can control the narrative and we don't have to depend on white media's narratives, because they're gonna try to act like they really care for us. They're gonna really do the Jedi mind trick on you and make you think, oh, we fighting for y'all, and hey, this and that, and y'all ain't got no business. But I'm gonna just tell y'all, man, by nature, we are have conservative spirits. We have conservative mentalities, man. If you're a black, especially if you're a black man in America. So hey, you can take that for what you want to take it. You can take my words out of context. You can say, hey, Juice a Trump supporter. Oh, you can say whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, the facts gonna speak for themselves, and they need to stop taking that man's contact. And that man's a representative here in Florida. This is a black man that's standing up and saying, hey, man, I might be a Republican, but guess what? I got way more economically than I would have if I was a Democrat. And I'm gonna just leave it right there. So Chill Will, give us some give us a closing argument real quick and sum it up in about 5 minutes. Let's go. We got a 5-minute drill. Let's do it, fellas.
Well, first, I start with the thought thing. This is a spiritual warfare. No matter how people look at it, they can look at it in a religious way, whatever way they can look at it. But this is a spiritual warfare. The white man has learned the things that we should already know when it comes to spiritual things, but our people are so lost on it that the music that's being put out now, that's a curse, that's a spell. And it's triggering the women to say, hey, we don't need a man, but we'll go screw this man, we'll go screw that man because he got money over here, he got money over there. And then you got some men who are along with that too. So the worst part about it is it's all spiritual warfare. It's way more lust than there is love in society. There's no love in society like it used to be. It's all lust. This is why you see so many women dressing the way they dress on social media. This is why you see women out and about dressed the way they're dressed, because it's all lust. It's no love involved. So that's the thing that's having our women look bad overall. Let's get to these athletes. There's two good friends of mine that played in the NFL. One of them is Herman Moore, and the other one is Ray Lewis. I would hang out with these dudes, right? We would go out to clubs. The clubs they would go to, they were instructed to go to these clubs. Now, when we get in the clubs, guess what's in the club? It's all snow bunnies. So they make sure that these snow bunnies are in areas and places that these brothers are in, to the point where they emphasize to the brothers, hey, you don't need to go back to the hood, man. You don't need to go back to your neighborhood. You don't need to go to this club. You don't need to go to that club, because they have a fear of this athlete who's making millions of dollars can get with a sister. This same sister's going to elevate him to be able to invest, to elevate him even when he leave the game of football. He's going to be able to invest in certain things that the white man didn't want him to do as a black man with a black wife. So then it's a clause in the contract that a lot of people don't know about. It is a clause in the contract. And this is another way they get these brothers to deal with these white women. They have these football camps. They have to appear at certain things. Now, everybody think about it. Not one time there's not many football camps in the hood. It's always in the suburbs. And what holds the suburbs? A lot of white women. I went to a training camp with Marshawn Lynch. We was down in Hialeah, Florida. The area that we was in, I never knew this area even existed. Each house in that area was probably $2 to $3 million and up. I did not see one brother or sister out there with their kids. It was all white women. And to the point, at one point in time, I was at 235. Do you guys know that I got hit on by 10 white women when I was at a camp? I ain't been in football since college. They swore me up and down. I was, oh, you play in the NFL? I know you are. You want to practice squad, this and that, this and that. And they throwing themselves at me. But this is the thing I end up telling these white women. I'm a god. I don't deal with peasants. And if you're offended by what I'm saying, then that's your fault. But at the end of the day, I cannot deal with you because I can't power up with you. I can't level up with you. I would run over you. I would dog you out.
Mm.
I couldn't go to any more camps because I spoke and said something to them. They didn't like it. Now, let's get to slavery. I may step on some toes or I may trigger you guys, but I did some research on this for 5 years. I've been going back and forth to the federal library and looking up all kind of things in archives because each documentation that the United States government does, they have to document it. It is by law. What I did discover was there was never slavery. This was the thing. It was a treaty amongst our people to immigrants that came in. The treaty was y'all help these immigrants learn how to grow crops, build houses, um, do everything that you do in your basic day-to-day life, right? So mind you, this is our land. These our people are already on their land. So here's the trick of it. Once those immigrants learned how to grow crops, build and all this stuff, they took over the plantation. This is where 40 acres and a mule come in. Our people were so poor at that time that they couldn't afford to buy back the property that they was taken from. Now, the thing of slavery is this is a trick of the government. This is the United States government that tricks our people and think that, okay, we was actually in slavery. No, it was a fear tactic. Anytime there was a slave or quote unquote brother that escaped from the plantation that he actually owned, they would beat him. They would go back and rape their women. They would hang them. It was a fear tactic because at the end of the day, it was two rappers. Well, it's one rapper that got blackballed out of the industry. His name is B.O.B. He spoke of this. When he spoke of that, I went and started doing research on it. And he was absolutely right. And the same thing Kanye West said. And it's another brother named Dane Calloway. He said the same thing. They've been trying to take his head off for the longest, but they seem to can't touch him. So I always tell people this. We speak of slavery, but slavery never existed. It was all a fear. It was a fear tactic. And if you guys don't believe me, you can go to the federal library and look up all the treaties and all the census acts, because those were the things that to trick our people out of our land. This is how the $5 Indian came about. When a white man seen it was giving benefits to our people, which was not no Indian, but it was giving benefits to our people, they wanted a piece of it, so they gave him $5. Now you got the $5 Indian. But what I will say this country is a union of 50 states, right? Within this union, within this union, and I was telling Vaughn today, um, there is a thing called BRICS. I don't know if you brothers know about BRICS, but Texas is threatening to leave BRICS. And Texas was one of the states that held it down for quote unquote slavery. Texas came up with their own thing. They call themselves the Lone Star State. They call themselves that for a reason. They are very independent. They have their own laws that's not even other states don't have. And the resources that Texas have is pushing them towards to leave United States Union to be a part of
That's
BRICS.
facts. That's facts.
So at the end of the day, and I'll spin back around and go back to this slavery thing. Um, I try to educate our brothers and sisters whenever they bring up the topic of slavery. I always encourage them, hey man, look, I'm gonna tell you something, but I'm gonna tell you where to go to find it. If you have a day by yourself and you have time to yourself, go to the federal library and look up all the census acts and all the treaties. It'll tell you it was never slavery. It's supposed to be in a treaty to where our people show the immigrants what how it is to live on this land. And the whole time they tricked us. The government continuously always try to trick us with all kinds of things. But the thing is, um, their time is up. Now
So
The Moors made that deal with United States government almost 400 some years ago. That
yes.
contract is up. The contract is
Yep.
up. So with that being stated, the contract is up and that spiritual curse is up. See, a lot of our people don't understand that we are spiritual people. We're not religious people. I'm gonna give y'all a history fact real quick. When the British invaded Haiti, Haiti used voodoo to win that war. See, our people in our community, black people look at voodoo as the worst thing ever. No, that was our weapon. If you look that up also, you'll see, well, and it's documented that the British soldiers was fighting each other. They was dropping dead. They was losing their mind because that voodoo protected the island of Haiti. And you want to know why America is after Haiti so bad is because they have a resource that's so powerful to man that they want nobody else to find it, but they want to find it first. But I mean, I could go on, but I'll just wrap it up. But at the end of the day, um, our men and women are under attack with this lust spirit because if you look at it, sex is on everything now.
All right. All right. All right. That's thanks for that, my brother. Brother Red, sum it up in 5 minutes for us, bro.
Man, after what Chill Will just said, man, it just I'm almost at a loss for words. I've been telling people this that there was how was there slavery? They talk about the slave ships. We know where the Titanic is at. Why are there no inclinations or no sightings or nothing, no remnants of these slave ships? Like you and I were talking before, Jews. We are the indigenous people. Like Chill Will just said, we were already here. We don't have the features. Just look at people like Michael Blackston and all them people that come from Africa. The Sudanese. Ghanaian people. All them African people. They got total different genetic makeups than we have. You know, they push this. Like they push this on us that we're. If you notice, we were colored, we were niggers, and not now we're African Americans. I don't ascribe to that. I, I see myself like you said, Juice, as a king, like Chill Will just said. I I I'm not black. I don't know where they get that from. This is not black. There's nothing black about this. Nothing. You know. And back to the slavery piece with the like you were saying how they beat us into submission with this Christianity. You know, like Chill Will said, it was all and what Professor Voss said, it was a fear factor, a fear mongering factor. They all you have to do. This is what they had to do was threaten us with hell. School, you get in trouble, you go to principal. You're adult, you get into trouble, you go to jail. After death, you go into hell. So if we really sum all this stuff up, man, all this stuff is just a way to keep a veil over us, so we have a ceiling on us. Don't think outside of the box. So I'm I'm in my new era where I like a lot of this stuff that's happening. These tornadoes and natural disasters, and I see this stuff months and years before it happens now because my third eye is open. I can see stuff because I don't sit around and engage in the narratives that's being pushed. I do my own research now. You see, here's the thing, Juice. What I want you to push this with this one fact right here. We live in the information era. So to be ignorant in this era, that means you're a damn fool because you have the resources. Everybody's walking around with a computer in their hand. So
That's your fingertips.
if
Yes.
you can't articulate and find out some information that you need to know in these 2020s, you just a damn fool. That's just the way I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
You-
Like I
I
told you
call it
before,
a
Juice.
useful idiot.
Facts
Useful idiots.
Facts don't give a damn about your feelings and don't give a damn
Facts
about
matter.
mine. This is one thing I love about Voss. Voss put them stats out there. He put them out, and
Hater.
so that I'm statistical based too. If I come to you with something, I'm gonna have some numbers behind it, and I'm at least I'm gonna have a site where you can go and look it up for yourself. If I don't have it on hand, I'm gonna tell you where to go get it. You see what I'm saying? So right now, man, like I said earlier, no black men are even engaging in church. You may be the pastor and a couple of deacons in them churches. It's the pastor, the deacon, and those and women and kids. And here's my last point. Juice, you just came from DC. Did you go out to eat?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You went out to eat, right? Y'all
Yes,
went out to eat. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I want you to imagine where you were at when you think about the racial divide in the makeup of the restaurant that you was in. That white family, it was a man at that table. That that's a Hispanic family, it was a man present. But now when you see our black people, it's a woman and a bunch of kids, man, women and kids. So that just shows you where we are, man.
Thank you for that, my brother. That was gracious information. Thank you for gracing us with that information. And we're going to definitely take that to heart, and we're going to utilize this to implement change and create some type of solutions for the challenges in our community. And we're going to actually sum it up, our brother Voss. We give it to you. We're giving it to you. 5 minute flash. Let's get it.
All
5 minute
right, yes,
lecture.
sir. Yes, sir. 5 minute lecture. So the first point that I want to really emphasize, and black people should never, ever forget what I'm about to say, okay? It was against the law for you to read, write, or even act like you're trying to learn something. The reason why we raised our literacy so high in a short period of time, because we were innovative about learning. We saw learning as survival. There were no public schools for black people back then. We had to go in the woods. We had to get on a boat. We had to sneak, and we had to hide to learn. We became innovative in our learning. We're going to have to go back to that. We're going to have to go back to being innovative in our learning. And I cannot commend you young men enough for having the willingness to get on a platform and have these intellectual discussions, because see, this is what your ancestors did during Reconstruction. This is how you were able to elevate yourself out of oppression. Everybody didn't agree. Booker T. Washington didn't agree with W. Du Bois. Okay? But they took all those different philosophies and they elevated us into black excellence. Now, how do we lose that? Why do black people treat reading and education like it's Ebola or AIDS? Is because we traded ownership of our institutions for integration. And the only institution that we have now, and I use that word very loosely, is the black church. And the black church has turned into a circus where you have a bunch of clowns performing. And the circus is $1 billion business. It's $1 billion industry, and people enjoy watching clowns. But it has, if you can go on Facebook right now and listen to some of these churches. Listen to some of these preachers that are on Facebook. Listen to them and ask yourself, is what that clown that's called himself a preacher, are they addressing the issues that are going to make social change? If you want data homework, Pick any church. Pick any church and look at the data that's around that church. Look at poverty. Look at crime. Look at teenage pregnancy within 5 miles, 10 miles of that church. Look at that data. When I look at the data from the town that I'm from, you got 10 churches on one street in a half a mile. And when I look at the data in your hometown, my hometown, you're third on the food chain to Hispanics. You're third on the food chain. You have the worst academic achievement in Polk County. The worst. Hispanics don't been here 40 years in your community. They speaking better English than you. They're performing better in mathematics. In every area of academics, you got people in other cultures outperforming. So it's this kind of platform that you're going to need to make change. You guys have my full support. I can't be canceled. In order to cancel me, you got to cut down every tree in Georgia. And if you do that, I'm going to go to another state and sell wood. So my support to you guys are unwavering as long as I got breath in my body, and I'm building the infrastructure so that even when I'm dead and gone, I will still have an impact to what you're doing. I appreciate you guys so much, and you guys can get at me anytime, anywhere. I'm here to serve you.
Oh, I really appreciate it, man. That makes my heart happy, man. To know I got good people behind me like you. And I inbox you my number, man, because I want to keep up with you. We don't have to just go back and forth on Facebook because I tell people all the time, I know you in real life. I'm from Ohio Street. I was born on Ohio Street, right, in Washington, and you know my whole family. You know what I'm saying? And I know Juice in real life. Sheila Will, I somewhat I know of you, but I don't know you like that. But yeah, you my brother just as well. But I always like to look at our community as it could be so much more than it is, but we have to work together, man. And our open enemy has put it where we like Sheila will say every day we going at each other's throats, man, instead of building each other up. And leave y'all with this last thing. It's time for us to elevate. Like Sheila will said, that contract is up. It's our time, and it's going to come a time where the stronger going to rise and the weak are going to fall by the wayside. I'm just letting y'all brothers know that we ain't gonna be able to save everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all earlier, I know how to fish and hunt and go out there and go get it. So me and mine, we gonna eat. That's what I want to tell y'all. So you guys have brought a lot of inspiration to my thought process this evening. I've taken in a lot of stuff that's been said, and I always want to be a beacon of light, even in my own career. But like, be honest, Juice, Chill, and y'all really made my night, man. I really appreciate it, man. I love you guys.
Much love to y'all, man. I really appreciate it. Y'all brothers got me by some years, but
Absolutely,
man, I'm always gonna.
absolutely. A little bit of
Juice, you
lagging
breaking
going,
up, man.
fellas.
Can't hear
Can
you.
y'all hear me? Throw your hands in the air. Throw the peace
Yeah,
sign up if you hear me.
that was on me. But what I'm gonna say this real quick, man.
A little lagging coming in too. Oh man, I don't know what's going on, bro.
Yeah, I kind of walked away from a little spot. And yeah, they could be trying to shut us down, but I want to say this too. Each one of us, every day we rise up,
Mhm.
we evolve to something. And every day we lay down, I mean, every night we lay down, we go to sleep, we download something. Um, our ancestors are so powerful that sometimes we don't need a book. We receive downloads while we sleep, and when we awake the next day, the things that we have received to download, the things that we have downloaded, we put it out into the universe. And from just listening to y'all brothers tonight, it really gave me that spark of energy, that energy that some people don't know how to explain, or they can't explain it. But we give off energy when it's things such as this, when we having knowledge discussed, and when we passing knowledge on, and we emphasizing our ideals and stuff like that. This is a powerful entity that this is what they're really afraid of. So you can imagine with just us brothers talking, you can imagine if a million brothers came together to do this the right way, as we're doing, this could be a powerful movement, as long as spiritual, because again, it's a spiritual warfare against us. The more of us together, the stronger our spiritual warfare is against them. And I just leave that on that note. But man, one love to y'all brothers. I really appreciate it, because I'm always got my ears open and my eyes open to listen and learn. So again, appreciate this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We surely appreciate it, Brother Will, Brother Professor, and my brother Red. We appreciate y'all for joining us at Urban Matters Media Group. And I'm your gracious host, Dr. Juice. We're going to be definitely doing this. We're going to tap in every week. We're going to bring some of this hot fire knowledge every week. And we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, we're going to eliminate some of this goofball behavior out here in our community, where it leads to nothing. It leads to a straight nothing burgers. And jokers always complaining, like Professor say, how you complaining when you can't even come and join these brothers who are trying to come together in unity, and we trying to come together with knowledge. You very rarely can see black men standing in the paint, standing on a square, giving this hot fire knowledge, giving information, keeping you informed with local and events that are taking place in politics, in the world, geopolitical tensions around the world. Y'all heard about that? 18 to 26 getting ready to draft. They started the draft in the middle of the night. They implemented the draft on our young black men, and I guarantee you they're gonna be the first ones they throw out there on that front line. And you gotta ask yourself, like, why are these jokers in 2024 coming with a draft, man? I don't understand it. Russia is over there in California, and they don't even want to talk about it. The white media is suppressing the media. They're taking your speech, and they're blocking all your speech. You can't even say what you want to say nowadays. You can't even think how you want to think. You can't be an intellectual thinker. Like, being an intellectual thinker like this platform, y'all, is being demonized. And we got to start standing in the paint, man. And Professor Voss, I just want to thank you for being a black man that's an educator, that's standing up and giving and investing your education back into the black community. I just want to thank you for that, brother, because most of our people, they get a little bit of education, they move away from the community, and then they come here on the holidays, be like, man, what happened to Lake Wells, man? What happened was, my dude, you left. You left, and you didn't impart, and you didn't invest back into your community. Sometimes investing involves more than economic side of it. Investing can be through your time, through your you can get in your community and volunteer. And we got some work to do, man. We got some work to do, man. And I'm just excited that you guys are joining us. And we're gonna tap in with this. I want to see if I can get you guys commitment to tapping in with me every week, man. I'm gonna send y'all out an invite, and we're gonna get more on a schedule that we can kind of work around with everybody's schedule. And we're gonna try to tap in, and we're gonna try to invest in this platform. And y'all see, I've tried to do some investments as far as the streaming platform. I stepped my game up. So, hey, I'm bringing that hot fire. Y'all know I can bring the hot fire. I'm just trying to get y'all guys in, because y'all guys, y'all already know, boy, I go for the juggler vein. Y'all already know that, boy.
But hey,
I've been calm.
Dr. Juice, I just want to I would be remiss if I didn't say that I can't tell you what an honor is. You guys refer to me to and when I think about that, and when I think about other cultures who honor their elders, they to me, and I haven't told you this, but that's just such a high respect. When I look at what's going on in our community, And when I look at the gap between the older black men and the younger black men, and when you give me that high esteem as referring me to that says a lot, and I'll never let you dudes down, man.
Thank you, Professor. Thank y'all, man.
I
Thank y'all
appreciate y'all.
again,
I
fellas.
appreciate you.
I thank y'all, man. Y'all guys are the best, man. Y'all are the best, man. We're gonna take this thing home real quick. And I'm truly gracious, man, that we can come together as black men and build something. And I think this platform is the start of some education and some success and some information. Also, Professor, I got to get you a newspaper I picked up in Washington, D.C. It's a black newspaper that's been in publication for about 28 months. Y'all don't forget, also join us too at Urban Matters Matter on YouTube. Also, you can check us out, the Lincoln Avenue Herald. Also, we got the Lincoln Avenue Herald Business Forum. Y'all tap in with us. We're implementing business strategies. We're implementing the information. And we're going to keep y'all posted to what's important in the black community, man. Peace and love. Y'all take care.